This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris,
And I'm Will.
and today is,
Wild Call Wednesdays.
which is great because there's actually like a couple weeks ago and we didn't realize it. There was like a Persona Wildcard Wednesday thing, and we totally should have covered this on the Persona
Yep.
Wildcard Wednesday date. But oh well, I had no idea that was a thing, even though I'm a super fan of
Somehow
Persona.
Chris didn't know. Yeah, he's a super fan.
I don't know, whatever. But anyways, today we want you guys to like this video, comment on this video, share this video across social media, especially Reddit, and
I like how you
subscribe to our
changed each
podcast.
day.
I have changed it every single day. Of course,
Yes.
MySpace was the worst one I chose, so yeah, whatever.
That's going to be our most popular video.
Probably, because they'll be sharing it across MySpace. Today we're covering what I call the Persona pattern, which is every game they've released will eventually get a second, more definitive, more complete release later. It has happened with every single Persona game, including a non-Persona game, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is getting a definitive edition re-released on the Switch. Didn't see that one coming. I really should have. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see that coming. But
Yeah, I mean, they re-released every game on the Switch, so.
well, it's an Atlas and Nintendo partnership, which is why I was suspecting it wouldn't happen. But anyway, believe it or not, Persona 5 is actually my least favorite of the modern Personas.
You know that.
4 Golden is probably my favorite, only because of the quality of life improvements over 3. As far as storyline goes, of the 3 modern Personas, because when people talk about Persona, they're really only referring to usually Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5.
Yeah.
And that's because the production team changed. The creator of Persona left after 2, the second half of number 2, and a new guy took over. I don't remember the director's names because they're all names I can't really pronounce, so I'm not going to try. I'm not going to offend a whole bunch of people by trying to pronounce those names. But the music, the guy that does the music for all of the Persona games has not changed since I think he's been there the whole time. They even let him direct one of the PSP games, which was kind of neat because he had like a completely different style from most other people that were covering or doing the Persona games. Okay, but the first 3 Persona games, you had Persona 1, which was released here as Revelations Series Persona, which was the weird branding that Atlas chose to use in the 90s for a lot of their games they released over here, Revelations Series. Don't know why. And then they changed it to Shin Megami Tensei Persona in later releases. But number 2, the only one we got out of the first 2 was Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, which is the second half of the second game. Because they released it as 2 parts. Like, part 1 was Persona 2 Innocent Sin. Part 2 of game 2 was Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. And together they
Reminds
had a
me of
complete
another
story.
series you like so much from Japan.
Fire Emblem?
Yes.
Anyways, we only got the second half. So, if you wanted to see the complete story, you had to either know Japanese and import the other version, or there's a fan translation patch that was put out some years later. You could play it that way. Well, eventually, of course, with every Atlas game, but this took a lot longer, they re-released Revelation Series Persona as Shin Megami Tensei Persona on the PSP. And they redid all the music. It's kind of got a more poppy J-pop feel to it. They re-released Persona 2 Innocent Sin with a more J-pop theme as well. They're like way more, just the feeling of them is completely changed. So anybody that was nostalgic for the original music does not feel right at home on the PSP.
Yeah, well, J-pop was really popular then and is still very popular now.
Oh yeah, and so is K-pop, but that's not part of Persona. So they re-released all 3 of the PS1 Persona games on the PSP. But get this, Will, when they re-released Persona 2 on the PSP, they only did the first half.
Oh my gosh, no. Okay.
So you
Didn't
get
do
the first half on the PSP and the second half on PS1. So since they
Makes
knew they
sense.
weren't going to re-release the second half of Persona 2 on the PSP in the Americas, they actually did us a favor, and they put Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, the PS1 title, as a PS1 classic title, available on the PS3, the PSP, and the PS Vita. So at least they
Nice,
give
nice.
you the second half.
Yeah, that was my next question, is if they did that.
Yeah. I mean, I own all of them physically, so
I know
whatever.
you do, Chris. You showed it to me.
So then we get to the three modern Personas. You got Persona 3, Persona 4, Persona 5. Persona 3 was released as, I believe, Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3. Pretty sure. And then Persona 4 was also released that way. It wasn't until Persona 4 Golden, the re-release of Persona 4, that they dropped Shin Megami Tensei from the titles, which is, it's just funny in general because Shin Megami Tensei and Persona are two separate franchises altogether. Although Persona is a subset of Shin Megami Tensei with no connections to the original brand.
Hmm.
So it was,
That is confusing.
at one point in time, Shin Megami Tensei was the more popular of the two, more well known, and at some point Persona just took over altogether. Like there's more people know what Persona is than Shin Megami Tensei.
Because you started buying all the games.
No, it's not me. I'll tell you that much. Guys like me probably don't have very much of a following in the Persona realm because I'm not I'm a big fan of the games. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not like the type that's posting on the Reddit every single day like some other people are.
Yes, you are, Chris.
No, I
Don't lie.
don't.
You have all the outfits. You go to the Comic Cons.
Nope.
Don't lie. I've seen you.
But I did have a really interesting thing. So I just want to point out right now on the PlayStation Store, you can get Persona 4 Golden for $10. So it is discounted from 20 down to 10 in the U.S. PlayStation Store. Okay, if I have any European viewers, I guess it was already £10 or €10 or whatever. It's been that way for years, but the U.S. finally got a $10 discount.
Is it worth buying digitally?
Persona 4 Golden. If you don't like buying Vita carts, then yes.
Okay.
If you prefer having the carts like I do, then no. You can probably get it for 15 or 20 at GameStop if you like the carts. Okay. But just to get back to the main focus of this video, basically Atlas, every generation, they release the base version of the game, okay? And then instead of releasing DLC for that game, like most other companies are notorious for doing, like 2-3 years later, okay, here's the definitive edition with no DLC in between. It's like, what? And sometimes they re-release it at full price, like they're doing with Persona 5 The Royal. They're re-releasing it at $60. So it's like, I mean, the only nice thing they do there is the base copy, the quote, we'll call it the classic version of the game, usually gets heavily discounted. So if all you care about is the original main story, you don't care about new endings, new characters, etc., etc., it's like $20 or less for what was a $60 game when it first came out. And it's uber popular. They've never really failed at getting the sales with their re-releases, which is insane to me because it's like, but you know they're going to re-release it.
Yeah, I do. But you keep buying it, Chris. So it's like it's you and everyone else.
I do. It is. I have a problem. I don't know if they like. I don't know if it's like a like they're doing it on purpose or what, but it seems like every generation they release the base game and then years later they're like, okay, fine, here you go, here's the rest of it. So you had Persona 3, then you had Persona 3 Fest, which is short for festival. I know everybody's like, oh, it's Fest. Yeah, what's Fest? It's festival. In Japan, it's festival. Fest is short for, it's like some abbreviation. And then they released Persona 3 Portable. Now 3 is the only one that, in my opinion, they really have never done justice to the game, because Fest, they added on a bunch of things, okay? But then with Persona 3 Portable, which came out after Persona 3 Fest, it was like 06, 07/08, and then like 2010, I want to say, that's the years of releases. I don't have that information in front of me right now, so don't quote me on it, but it was like some years apart, okay? On Persona 3 Portable, they added a alternative route to the game where you could play as a female main character.
Yeah, you told me about this.
And they've basically finally made her canon. She's like some alternate universe character in Persona Q2. They actually defined where she comes from, and she's not going to be mainline anymore. But she is technically part of the canon. Overall, they re-released 3 twice, and they never quite put everything into any of the releases. So Fess does not have a female alternative route, and they didn't improve the character arcs. And then Portable, they added the female route, but they made it a visual novel for navigation. So it's like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's really weird how they're releasing each game, and how some games have part of the update and then like other ones don't have it, or it's like the first half, not the second half. It is kind of screwy. I don't understand why they don't just bring everything out with that definitive version.
Right. And then for Persona 4, the original game came out on the PS2. And then the second, the re-release was a PS Vita exclusive. So there's that. And then they've never released it on the PS4. Well, then Persona 5 came out as a dual release on the PS3 and the PS4.
Yep. And
the re-release is going to be a PS4 exclusive, probably on the PS5, but right now it's listed as a PS4 exclusive. So anyway, so
but they're making money, so they clearly have figured it out.
The crux of this to me is there should be some way, and they did it in Japan when they released Persona 3 and then Fess. Fess was just an extra disc you could get, versus in the Americas you got Persona 3, and then Persona 3 Fess was the complete game plus Fess. So you had to buy it twice if you wanted Fess, or if you just bought Fess, you'd have been fine. So I guess with Persona, if you're not a collector, you could just wait it out and then buy the definitive version.
Yeah.
So
would you recommend that?
If you don't care about like getting it ahead of time, then yeah, might as well.
Chris does care though, so he's gonna buy it.
I have every single game. I'm like the like if you were a major Pokemon fan, you buy all the Pokemon games, even though they're like the same thing reskinned every generation, or you get like Sword and Shield.
Yes,
that's me, except Persona. I just don't have the figurines or the bobbleheads.
Hey man, I get it. You find a series you really like, and you just gotta keep getting it.
Yep. So if I just wanted to play Persona, don't buy Persona 5. Just get Persona 5 Royal when that comes out. That's my recommendation.
So I shouldn't get it for the PS3. That's what you're saying.
Well, you should. You don't have a PS4. Like, how else are you gonna play it?
Yeah. Okay. Good point.
Although you can technically get Persona 3 Fess on the PS3, so you should do that. Actually, it's a digital title.
Oh.
I forgot you could do that. You can get like almost every single Persona game except the first one and the first okay, never mind. So you're gonna miss 2 titles. Anyway, that's that.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but the pattern is release, re-release, definitive version. That's the Persona pattern. Mm-hmm. If you like this content, which I'm sure everybody on the Persona subreddit is gonna be like, dude, we all know this. We all know this. All right? Everybody on here knows this is what happens. Okay? You're not telling us anything new. Okay? You're not giving anything to the conversation. Okay. To you guys, I will say this. You're right. So please like this video. Comment on this video. Share it across social media. Subscribe to the podcast. My name's Chris.
And I'm Will.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST.